Hi, I'm Natalie Meyer. I'm Australian. I live in Perth, Western Australia, and I'm a graduate of the 2021 cohort from GBJ, the Global Business Journalism Program at Tsinghua University.
Thank you so much, Natalie, and it is really great to have you today. So I guess we'll start it with our first interview question. What jobs have you engaged in since graduating from the GBJ program?
I've been working full-time as the General Manager of the American Chamber of Commerce in Australia, AmCham, based in Western Australia. So that's a job that involves meeting with a lot of people, organising events, handling our members who are headquartered here in Western Australia, or companies which are headquartered in other states of Australia but have branches here. And people join the chamber for all sorts of reasons. There are 5 pillars. There's networking, access, advocacy, visibility, and information. And we have approximately 418 members in Australia, all corporate members. And yeah, loving my job. Very grateful to have it.
That's awesome. That also leads to my second question. Are you enjoying your current job?
Absolutely. I feel like it's kind of a pinch myself moment because I really enjoy meeting people and an opportunity to hear about things that matter to them, combining that with business. It's a job where I feel like I'm able to leverage things that I learned in the GBJ program. I gained a lot of confidence in writing in a way that I felt was unbiased, informative, using facts, using a technique that Professor Miller constantly advocated, which is show, don't tell. And I think that it's something that has allowed me to combine different skill sets and to grow as well. It's a challenging role. It requires a lot of my attention, and it requires that I speak with people who are my colleagues, speak with people who are the members, because it's not simple to just go and offer one solution to everyone.
Thank you. So did the study in the GBJ program affect your choice after graduation?
It didn't really, because I had worked for international chambers of commerce before. So I'd worked for the Australian Chamber of Commerce in Chile from 2015 until 2016. I'd first gotten involved with chambers of commerce when I was based in Taiwan. So ANZCHAM and BritCham, I did emceeing work and assisted with some events for BritCham. And I had worked in roles where I had been client-facing in some organizations and very much focused on the personal interaction, the interviewing, getting to know what clients were wanting. So I was looking for some sort of position that would allow me to do that a lot, and that would allow me to bring understanding and context of intercultural relations, international communication, and working on providing value in that way. So I went into GBJ with that experience, with that background. I considered some other career paths while I was studying GBJ. So for example, I found myself getting more and more interested in journalism and in storytelling. I think that that was a result of the diverse range of things that we were exposed to while we were at Tsinghua. It's also a real credit to the professors who were extremely professional in the way that they taught the class, and also in several cases coming from a background of having worked in industry themselves. So for example, Professor Dunham had gone and worked as a journalist in the field in the US and had gone and covered the various presidents at the White House. Professor Steve Gunn had also gone and worked as a journalist in the US. Professor Miller is an editor at large. He's based in Hong Kong. I know that he's gone and worked for decades for Bloomberg News, and that's such a respected news organization around the world. At the same time, the Chinese professors that we had, Dai Jia, for example, was someone who I thought taught exceptionally well and really gave us great insight into different nuances of China that I hadn't learnt about beforehand. Hung Min was a great help, as was my supervisor as well, Hu Yu. So I think having the whole balanced perspective, seeing lots of different flavors of journalism, it got me thinking, how do I weave that into whatever career choice I make after GBJ?
So what would you say is something you learned the most from the 2-year GBJ program?
Something that attracted me to the program was the blend of theory and practical. I really wanted something where post-graduation I'd feel as though I had enhanced my hard skills. So whether it be video editing or learning how to tell a story in front of a camera or writing a story in a written way that could be published in a business journal or in a newspaper, that's something that I feel I was able to strengthen my capabilities within GBJ. But aside from that, I think they're all of the peripheral things on the program. So learning to hear different perspectives and present it in an unbiased way, absorbing from your classmates examples of best practice journalism. And that's something that I'd really say to other GBJ students at the moment and future GBJ students. You won't realize unless you talk to your classmates and get to know each of them individually what their strengths are. Seeing different articles that they wrote, it really shows that you don't have to come into GBJ with work experience to be able to produce something that is completely first class. So coming into GBJ, I learned from the program itself, I learned from my peers, I learned from my professors, and also just the whole environment of being in Beijing. It's a extremely cultural rich, beautiful place to be. Tsinghua, it's an incredibly diverse campus to have both China's top students and a range of very impressive international students. And I think that it's important that people take advantage of getting to know all of those people.
For the next question, how would you describe your life and study at Tsinghua University in 3 words or phrases?
Diverse, wonderful, and life-changing. And I didn't go into it necessarily thinking that it was going to be life-changing, but it's often that when you look back, to coin something that Steve Jobs of Apple said, you look back, you can connect the dots. And it's not something that when you're in the position of the present and you're looking forward and you're trying to think, where do I go from here? But looking back, I think how Tsinghua led me to meeting certain people. It led me to having certain opportunities. It exposed me to challenges that I hadn't been exposed to, and it really helped to build my confidence in ways that I think were crucial to the position that I'm in today, professionally and also personally.
Then do you have any suggestions for new GBJ students?
One of the key things that I would say to other GBJ students is when you're entering the journalism and communications program, you've probably entered it because you have an interest in one or more aspects of journalism. So while it is important to go and develop in areas that you might not have strengths in, you'll probably find that your best career choices often end up coming from something that you're really passionate about. So whatever that aspect of journalism is, whether that's writing or vlogging or making documentaries, really lean into that. Because while you're a master's student, you're in such a beautiful position to try out new things, and it's okay if you fail, but you're in a position where you have an amazing platform to go and develop content, to go and reach out to someone and say, hi, I'm studying a master's program in journalism at Tsinghua University. Would you mind if I did a story on this? Or I've recently learned how to do that and I'm really interested in profiling you. I think that people are actually very open to those kinds of approaches. And the professors advocated that as well when we were in the program. So I think doing that as much as possible, lean into what you like, ask your professors to give you feedback.
That you don't have many journalism background before entering the GBJ program. So how could you improve your journalism skills without any background during your master's degree?
I was chosen as valedictorian of GBJ, so that was looking across the spectrum of things, both the portfolio itself, but also the coursework and involvement on campus through things like Gala Night, where I was an MC for 2 years. I would say that in spite of not having studied journalism as a major or as an undergraduate degree, that I had gained some experience in limited capacities in storytelling or in developing content, whether that had been through creating videos that were just sort of amateurish ones, or trying to write stories, or writing a little bit of stuff for social media. And to that point, I think one of the best ways that I was able to improve my abilities, my capabilities, not abilities, my capabilities, was through working in developing social media content. So I was working for an organization called China Skinny, that is a marketing and consulting agency based in Shanghai. And I started doing that while I was doing the GBJ program. I also started doing a project for the Australian Embassy in Beijing, which was editing video interviews, recording video interviews, helping to develop interview questions and things like that. So leaning into all of the practical opportunities that presented themselves rather.
How did the GBJ program background help you in becoming who you are today?
I think that the GBJ program really affected who I am today because it required me to focus on developing hard skills in an area, communications and journalism, that I already really enjoyed, but I hadn't quite had the impetus in previous jobs to develop my written and video communication to the same degree or at the same pace as what I found I had to do while I was in the GBJ and then while I was working in some of the capacities that I just briefly touched on. So I think when you have assignments that are due and you constantly have to be writing it and then you get your assignment back, and maybe unlike undergraduate where it could have in some cases been easier to get marks for certain subjects, I suddenly found that when I was in GBJ, oh hang on, some of my classmates are doing much better than me on this assignment. How do I make sure that doesn't happen for the next assignment? It helps to have a little bit of a competitive mindset to kind of challenge yourself and to think, wait, why am I behind? What can I be doing better? And reflecting on that, because yes, you might be in the journalism program because you've got some capability or you've got some potential, but it's kind of like polishing a stone. You have to keep working on it and keep trying for that. And I now feel confident in my role, for example, to put out very regular posts about events that we're hosting or about small little initiatives and things that the Chamber is doing. And I published that on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn was a platform that I, in the past, had less confidence with, but it was through working for China Skinny that I got used to publishing something every single day on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Twitter. All of those things led to where I am today and also led me to feel like I'm confident in the support base that I have.
Do you have any goals or career plans in the next 3 to 5 years?
Absolutely. And I wish that I could tell you what most of them are. I guess almost due to the nature of the pandemic, it's meant that I, along with everybody else, have caught myself thinking, hang on, I suddenly need to adjust those goals, or maybe some goals have changed. And certainly with this position, just in the past 4 months, because I started 4 months ago, in the past 4 months, my goals and my mindset and everything has been very much affected by that in a positive way. So when the holiday period in December, January rolls around, I'm going to be sitting down with a pen and paper and really thinking, hang on, let me go and put this on paper, because it's gone and shifted from what it was pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, I thought I was still going to be living at least a couple more years in China, maybe more than that, seeing where the adventure kind of went and took me. I still, as I mentioned, keep up with Chinese. So, you know, never know how life is going to turn up. Lean into all of your different hobbies and interests and just be open to it.
Thank you so much. So these are all of our interview questions.
加油 GBJ!
Yay! Thank you. I will